There is a building in downtown Chicago. White 83 floors, called the Aon Center. Most people walk past it without a second thought. In 1973, Standard Oil of Indiana completed what was briefly Chicago's tallest skyscraper. They covered every surface of the building in Italian Carrara marble. 43,000 panels, each one cut just 1¼ inches thin. The architects said the marble would be long-lasting and outstanding. On Christmas Day 1973, before the building had opened for business, a 350-pound marble slab fell from the facade and punched through the roof of the skyscraper next door. Standard Oil said nothing publicly. 12 years later, engineers found the entire exterior was failing. The company had not told anyone. Here is what was really going on inside one of the most ambitious buildings in Chicago, and why the full story took decades to reach the public record. If you want to find the history that is standing right in front of you, subscribe. New video every week. Standard Oil of Indiana was in 1969 the 5th largest corporation in the United States. The company had outgrown its offices on South Michigan Avenue. A new era required a new building. They hired Edward Durrell Stone, whose work included the Kennedy Center for the Performing Arts in Washington. Stone was brought in to design a new headquarters at 200 East Randolph Street in the northeast corner of the Chicago Loop. He designed an 83-story tower, 1,136 feet tall. Tubular steel frame, V-shaped perimeter columns, the same structural method, as it happened, used for the original World Trade Center in New York. Perkins and Will served as co-architects. Turner Construction of New York was the general contractor. For the exterior cladding, Stone chose marble. Not granite, not glass, not the black aluminum that many of his contemporaries were using. Italian Carrara marble, the stone quarried in Tuscany that Michelangelo had selected to carve the David in the early 1500s, a material with 2,000 years of construction history behind it. Stone told Standard Oil the marble would be long-lasting and outstanding. He said it as a certainty. The company agreed. The panels were cut to 1¼ inches thick. That was thinner than marble had ever been used at this scale on a super tall building. The choice reduced weight, which the structure required. 43,000 panels were cut, shipped from Tuscany, and installed across every exterior surface. When installation was complete, Standard Oil had produced the world's tallest marble-clad building in recorded history. Construction ran from 1970 to 1973. The building opened that year. For a period in 1973, it was the tallest completed building in Chicago and the 4th tallest in the world. Workers called it Big Stan. The original construction cost was approximately $120 million. When Standard Oil's executives moved in, the building was exactly what it was designed to be, a permanent announcement of scale and ambition in one of the great American skylines. In 1974, the Sears Tower surpassed it. Big Stan dropped from 1st to 2nd in the Chicago skyline. That was expected. It was still one of the most significant buildings in the country. From Michigan Avenue, it stood white and massive. Chicago had a new landmark. It looked exactly like a new landmark should. On Christmas Day, 1973, during the final phase of construction, a 350-pound marble slab detached from the facade. It fell and punched through the roof of the Prudential Center, the office building on the adjacent block. Nobody died. Standard Oil did not issue a public statement. The incident was not widely reported at the time. The building went on. What no one had fully mapped yet, what the engineering community had not yet documented at this scale, was the specific way marble behaves in a climate like Chicago's. Chicago's temperatures run to extremes. Winters reach -20 degrees Fahrenheit. Summers push above 100. A swing of more than 120 degrees across the year, and sometimes across a week. Every material expands in heat and contracts in cold. Marble is no exception. The problem with these panels was a specific kind of differential expansion. Each panel had two faces, an exterior face exposed to direct sunlight, and an interior face backed by a climate-controlled building. Two faces of the same panel, expanding and contracting at different rates. Year after year in heat, the exterior face pushed outward, while the interior stayed cooler. In cold, the same dynamic reversed. Over thousands of cycles, the calcite crystals that compose marble do not fully recover. The bowing is permanent, the panels inch outward and stay there. The technical term is thermal hysteresis. It accumulates. From street level, none of this was visible. The building looked like what it was supposed to look like: white, monumental, permanent. A pristine marble tower in the Chicago Loop. In 1985, Amoco, which had renamed itself that year from Standard Oil, commissioned the Chicago engineering firm Wyss, Janey, Elsner Associates, along with J.N. Logan and Associates, to inspect the marble cladding. Initial inspections found no major bowing or cracking. Inspection continued for 2 years. After that, the findings changed. Many panels had deflected outward by as much as 1.5 inches from their original flush position. Laboratory testing revealed the marble had lost approximately 40% of its flexural strength, its capacity to resist the forces acting on a building, skin, in a city defined by wind and temperature. Engineers projected that the marble would lose another 30% of its remaining strength over the following decade. They also found the building was experiencing wind loads 20% above what building code required. The marble was being asked to do more than code demanded, and it was already at less than 60% of its original capacity. Amoco installed stainless steel straps across all 43,000 panels as a temporary measure. No public explanation was offered. Here's the part that stops people cold. Between 1973 and 1985, the building operated in the Chicago Loop and looked fine. The executive floors were occupied. Amoco's offices ran normally. From Randolph Street, anyone looking up saw white marble exactly where white marble was supposed to be. The damage inside each panel was molecular in scale. It was not visible from the ground, not from an adjacent building, not from the air. When the stainless steel straps appeared in the mid-1980s, that was something observers could notice. But there was no press release explaining the straps. No city authority issued a public statement. Nothing announced to Chicago that the world's former tallest marble-clad building was being held in place with metal bands, while the company that owned it worked out what to do next. Amoco sued. The company filed suit against Edward Durrell Stone and Associates, the primary architectural firm. It sued Perkins and Will, the co-architects. It sued Turner Construction of New York, the general contractor. It sued Peter Brady Associates, Inc., the New York firm that had installed the marble panels. It sued Alberto Bufalini Successori, the Italian company that had supplied the marble. Edward Durrell Stone had died in 1978. He was not alive when the inspection confirmed what the building had become. He had never acknowledged in public that anything was wrong with the exterior he had specified. The material he had called long-lasting and outstanding had lost 40% of its strength. He never knew the outcome. Every lawsuit was settled out of court. Settlement terms remain undisclosed. Engineers determined that partial repair was not viable. Every panel had to come off. After testing multiple stone candidates, they recommended Mount Airy white granite from North Carolina 2 inches thick, substantially stronger than the original marble, built to resist what the marble could not. The building's below-grade columns were reinforced. To carry the additional weight, the Recladding project ran from 1990 to 1992. 3 years, 43,000 panels removed. 2/3 of the marble was crushed and used as landscaping gravel at Amoco's refinery in Whiting, Indiana. 1/6 was donated to Governors State University. The remaining 1/6 went to a company called Regalo, a division of Lashgon Inc., where 25 workers employed under an Illinois Department of Rehabilitative Services grant carved pieces of it into corporate gifts, desk clocks, pen holders, commemorative items. The recladding cost exceeded $80 million. That was more than half the building's original $120 million construction cost, without adjusting for inflation. Amoco declined to disclose the actual figure publicly. The project became the largest building recladding operation in the world at the time of its completion. Scaffolding went up and came down over 3 years. People in the loop watched the work from the sidewalk. What they were watching, though nothing about the site announced it, was a company replacing the exterior skin of a building that had begun failing before it opened. The marble that had announced permanence in 1973 was on its way to a refinery in Indiana. That information existed in engineering journals. It did not receive prominent coverage in daily newspapers. If you are finding this video useful, drop a thumbs up and leave a comment below. Did you know about this building, or is this the first time you have heard this story? We want to know what the comment section already knows. Stay with us. The final piece of this is worth seeing through. The building you see today at 200 East Randolph Street is the same building that was completed in 1973. In all the ways that are invisible, the steel frame, the floor plates, the caissons reaching down through the Chicago clay to bedrock. The exterior is different. Every panel you see is granite, white, Mount Airy granite, installed between 1990 and 1992. You are looking at the replacement. The Aon Center, Standard Oil building, then Amoco building. Then, this is currently the 4th tallest building in Chicago. It operates as a major office complex, housing the headquarters of On and serving as a significant location for Blue Cross Blue Shield and Kraft Heinz, among others. It is functional, occupied, and active in the Loop, the same way it has been since 1973. Walk south on Michigan Avenue, toward Randolph, on a summer morning. The building rises white and clean above the eastern edge of the Loop. It does not look like a building whose exterior was held in place by stainless steel straps, while the company that owned it settled multiple lawsuits in private. It looks like it has always looked this way. That is the nature of a successful remediation. When it works, there is nothing left to see. One Prudential Plaza stands directly adjacent. That is the building whose roof the 350-pound marble slab penetrated on Christmas Day 1973. The roof was repaired long ago. The two buildings stand side by side on the same block, and there is nothing visible between them that marks what happened. The marble is worth a final note. Carrara marble does not come from a common quarry. It comes from the same region of Tuscany, the same geological formation, as the stone Michelangelo selected for the David. Standard Oil's building was not the only prestige project that chose it, and paid a long price for that choice. The Finnish architect Alvar Aalto used the same Carrara marble for the facade of the Finlandia concert hall in Helsinki, completed around the same period. Those panels also began bowing. Finlandia was also reclad. Thermal hysteresis in thin marble panels was a problem architecture. Had not yet fully mapped when both buildings went up. Chicago and Helsinki learned about it at the same time, from the same stone. In 2018, the building's owners proposed a $185 million rooftop observatory called the Sky Summit, including what was described as the world's tallest exterior elevator. That project was disrupted and has not been completed. The building is open on weekdays. You can walk into the lobby. There is no sign near the entrance explaining the marble failure, what the lawsuits covered, or what the recladding actually cost. Nothing indicates that the exterior you are looking at is version 2. The problem is gone, replaced by granite, sealed settlements, and time. What this building was in 1973 and what it went through before anyone said anything publicly about it is not marked anywhere outside. There is a building in downtown Chicago, white granite, 83 floors. When it opened, one of its marble panels had already put a hole in the building next door. The company called the material permanent. The marble lasted about 15 years. If you were the engineer who walked in for a routine inspection in 1985 and found this, what is the first call you make? Leave that in the comments. Subscribe for a new video every week.